For all my fantasy romance lovers, there is a book for you to check out called Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick. It was an instant New York Times bestseller and started as a huge indie book talk hit. So if you've seen people raving online, this is the book. If you love dark romantasy, this one delivers. It's got fae, dragons, gods, shifters, vampires, basically everything you want, plus a really unique twist with modern technology woven into the fantasy world. It truly felt like you were being transported into a new world as I was reading this, which to be honest was the relief I needed for the crazy world we're living in. What I really liked too was that this series emphasizes mental health as the female main character is battling depression and anxiety, which ends up being a major plot point for the book. It's on sale now, so if you've been looking for your next fantasy binge, this is it. You can find Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick wherever books are sold in print and ebook.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and Talkspace, the leading virtual therapy provider, is sharing the message that connection is crucial because good relationships are an essential and sometimes overlooked component of mental well-being. If your relationships could use some strengthening, a licensed therapist from Talkspace can help. Therapy can help you communicate better with loved ones, repair conflicts, and understand how to address loneliness and build community. It's easy to sign up. Just go to Talkspace.com and you'll be paired with a therapist within 2 days. You'll meet with your therapist online on your schedule. Plus, Talkspace is in-network with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. Make personal connections a priority and start today. If you're not covered by insurance, get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80. That's SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com and enter promo code SPACE80.
I used to think being good at relationships meant being easygoing, being the cool girl, low maintenance, super understanding. And I prided myself on adapting, compromising, giving people space, not asking for too much. But what I didn't realize is somewhere along the way, I stopped checking whether I was abandoning myself in the process. Because no one talks about this part, right? The self-abandonment rarely looks dramatic at first. It looks like staying quiet when something hurts you or convincing yourself your needs are too much, slowly shape-shifting into the version of yourself that feels easiest to love. So self-abandonment in the name of love is what we're digging into today. I'm Yue.
And I'm Julie. And we're sharing what we learned the hard way so you don't have to.
We learned this the hard way. I know we both did.
Self-abandonment, absolutely. I think the hardest breakups are when you realize you've abandoned yourself.
And how do you know you've abandoned yourself? I know that the times when a relationship ends and I feel like I am super alone and I don't know who I am. That's when I know, wow, I totally lost myself in this relationship.
Yeah, I think for me, the one where my needs were my needs were completely foregone. And it was basically all around this other person. And, we broke up and I'm still thinking about them and their needs. And I was like, where have I gone in all of this?
My God. Oh my God. Isn't that true? I kind of felt this way reading Strangers, the Belle Burden book. So the book is fascinating. If you don't know, this is like a bestseller right now. It's this New York heiress who finds her husband in the middle of an affair who tells her he doesn't want her or the kids after a 20-year marriage. But the entire book is still like, what did I do that made him leave? And what was it that he was missing in this relationship? And till the end, she was still like, I still don't know why he left. And I'm like, that's how I was in these earlier relationships, was constantly wondering, but why did he act this way? Or what was it that I said that scared him away? And I didn't question back to, well, was I actually happy in this relationship?
Right.
It was all about them.
That book. I read that book in like a day. I mean, some of it was a rough read around like the, I'm just going to sign this prenup or
yes,
basically like give him it was like a very uneven prenup that like the lawyers were like, don't sign this. And she did. Anyways, she definitely fell into his life and then he reaps all the benefits as soon as he discarded her. Anyways, cautionary tale, we're not going there, but I do think the self-abandonment piece is easy to do, whether it's like as extreme as that you've like completely lost your voice in the relationship, and it does happen. Or it could be just like every need has been prioritized for them, or like you were saying that you just start to really like focus like all your like the center of all your thoughts around this other person and take away from yourself.
But we've been fed this narrative that in a relationship, you do it for love. You sacrifice for love and you do it for your partner. And you're supposed to take their needs into account and really prioritize them in your life. So I understand why so many people in relationships feel like they have to step back and put their partner on a pedestal. But at the same time, if you're not catering to yourself, you're actually doing this partnership, this relationship, an injustice.
Yeah, I think that was exactly how I felt, was like, oh, this person is going through a hard time. I need to take the back seat and like adjust for them. And I think, I mean, relationships ebb and flow. It's never going to be 50-50 ever. There's going to be times where it's on one person or the other a little more just given, but it shouldn't feel like it's 100% or even 90% on the other person. Like there should always be at least a back and forth where you feel like you're being heard and your needs are being met. And it's not just you catering to someone else. I think there's a big difference. And yeah, like even like sacrifice, like maybe, you don't go to the same restaurant that like, or like maybe you want Chinese food, but you settle for like Korean that night, like
Yeah.
self-sacrifice that way. But I think when you're like, withholding yourself or like dumbing yourself down or littling yourself, like I think that's a very different self-sacrifice than like accommodating a partner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's such a thing as sacrifice, and there's such thing as just like, okay, I mean, no difference to me, right?
Right.
I don't need to die on this hill for
Right.
what we
Even if my
eat.
preference is Chinese, like I'll be fine,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that's like the true partnership, is knowing when to choose one over the other. And then I also think that when you abandon your needs, it builds resentment, because at some point you realize, well, I sacrificed so much for this partner and I built them up and I really helped them and prioritized them. And then this relationship still ends, or they do something bad, or you're not satisfied with the way they're reacting to you. You're really building yourself up for that resentment.
So what about this scenario? Let's say like your partner has to live a certain place because like their work is there and they're tied to a specific location, but it's somewhere that you don't really want to live. This is like a situation a friend of mine went through. But
Mm-hmm.
the option is like being with them and moving to this place or not being with them, basically, because the distance is too far that it's not really working for either of you. But you're now
Mm-hmm.
in this location that isn't like highly desirable by you. Do you
Mm-hmm.
consider that self-sacrificing? I think there's like a little sacrifice, but I don't know if it means like you've totally self-sacrificed, because like you're still getting stuff out of the relationship. It's still serving you in a way, but there is a level of sacrifice, and I think we can't like ignore that completely, that there could be a level of any relationship.
I heard someone say that when you are sacrificing, a lot of us do it in silence. We just do it, right? But when you are sacrificing yourself for your partner, you need to let them know. And
Yeah.
it's not I'm keeping tabs. It's more like, do you understand that I am willing to sacrifice myself for this situation? And in the scenario you just talked about, I've had a few friends who, let's say, went to med school and their partner had to follow them through residency in these like podunk towns, while they go through residency. But the agreement, which is also up for a negotiation, is after they graduate, that they both choose a place that they both love.
Right.
There is a light at the end of the tunnel, but the partner made it very clear, I'm sacrificing these couple years to be with you because I know that we are going to find a place we both love at the end of this.
Right. And then, like, in my friend's scenario, she definitely made it clear that it wasn't her first choice. But I think it was like there were a few options of places they could move that could work for his job. And none of them were necessarily her first choice. But she basically got final say of the ones that were options because they were
Yes.
already limited. So it's like a way to compromise together and not just be like, okay, it's all on my terms.
Then what do you think about if we're going to amplify the scenario a little bit more? What if one partner just has, how do I put this, more needs or more issues or just has more
I
things
think
that
that
bother them?
happens. I do think that
Right?
happens. Yeah.
Like the one partner is more particular about how a house should look or particular about the food they eat. And the other partner is just more easygoing in
Mm.
the purest sense. Is that a recipe for disaster? Like, should the easygoing partner start trying to insert themselves more? Or do you think that's actually they're just compatible?
So, okay. So I think it really comes down to, is the easygoing partner being true to themselves?
Yeah.
Are they just
Yeah.
playing it cool and keeping up this easygoing persona because that's what they've been told before? Or does it like deep down bother them? Or do they like look at themselves and they're like, I should have opinions, but I just don't really care that much. And I think
Mm-hmm.
if the answer is like they don't truly just don't care that much, I don't think it's self-sacrificing, right? Because they're not like
Mm-hmm.
sacrificing anything. But I do think sometimes people aren't honest about how much it bothers them. So it does take that.
Yeah, I get that. Because sometimes you don't even know if it really
Yeah.
bothers you that much or not. Like, I think I've tried dating someone who's vegetarian before and thought, That's fine. When we have meals together, I don't need to eat meat for every meal." But I start getting a little resentful because there are certain events we can't go to because it's only meat that's present, And like a lot of weddings, the vegetarian dish may be the worst choice. And I'm like, why? Why? Why
But
do we have to choose the worst one?
this is a good example because, like, what's the line here? Because
What's the
now
line?
I think, in my opinion, I think if the only thing that's wrong in the relationship is that they are a vegetarian and you're not, then you're being like overly picky. Because like you don't have to like become a vegetarian. Like, who cares if they have the bad meal at the wedding? That's them to have, right?
But then I feel like you can't have that shared experience over like House of Prime Rib, for example. I just felt like it
You
was
find
robbing
other
me.
shared experiences.
You would, yeah, you would. But it was just like robbing me of my favorite meals that I can think of, like a good steak at a steakhouse.
Guess it comes down to priorities. I don't
The
know.
priorities, yeah, priorities.
I think that is a line, though, because like we can't think everything is self-sacrificing either.
Yeah.
Because part of being in a relationship is accommodating another person. And there is a clear line in the sand of like I think if the person, maybe this is the perfect example. If this person that you were dating that's a vegetarian is like, Yue, in order to date me, you must become a vegetarian too.
Yeah, no, that'd be
and then
very
you did
different.
it, then you're really self-sacrificing, in my opinion. But if you're like, look, you're a vegetarian, I'm not, maybe we don't get to share meat, but I still get to eat meat and you don't care, then you're not really self-sacrificing. You're just not maybe getting like every ideal you wanted.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Priorities.
I want to go into more because such a good example. But before we do, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors.
If there's one thing I'm prioritizing right now, it's sleep. Because when my sleep is off, everything's off. My mood, my energy, how I show up in my relationships. So this is where Avocado Green Mattress has sleep all figured out. Their certified organic mattresses are specifically designed to relieve pressure points, support your body the way it needs, and help you actually get the deep, restorative sleep you've been missing. Every mattress is made with thoughtfully sourced materials and built with real care, so you can get incredible sleep night after night. Now, when I invest in something I use every single day, I want it to be made with real care, not just mass-produced. Avocado Green Mattress is exactly that. Supportive, comfortable, and thoughtfully crafted. It's a long-term investment that actually feels like one. Avocado products are made, not manufactured, and thoughtfully crafted with real materials to deliver lasting comfort and support. Go to avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable to check out their mattress and furniture sale. That's avocadogreenmattress.com/DATEABLE. avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable. Your home is more than just furniture. It's an extension of who you are, and the details matter more than you think. Like a rug. The right rug can completely transform how a space feels. And that's why I'm obsessed with my Ruggable. I went with this warm, neutral, boho-inspired design for my living room with earthy tones and a fun pattern, and it instantly made the whole space feel more intentional. Like, oh, someone put some thought into this. And what sealed the deal for me is that it's completely machine washable. Like, my dog Mojo does not care about interior design, and neither does Red Wine, apparently. So I've thrown it in the wash and it comes out looking brand new every time. It's built for real life. Refresh your home at ruggable.com. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with promo code DATEABLE at ruggable.com. That's ruggable.com and use the code DATEABLE at checkout.
I've been all about building an intentional wardrobe, leaning into pieces that are timeless, comfortable, and look put together. When I have all my go-to staples, it just makes getting dressed that much simpler. And you all know that Quince is my absolute favorite place to get fabrics that feel elevated and fits that are flattering. My latest obsession is their short sleeve cashmere shirts. I bought 2 in different colors, a pale pink and yellow. Both go so well with the pants I also have from Quince, and I've been wearing this combo everywhere. Their cashmere is so soft, and I can't get over the price. Everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Refresh your everyday with luxury you'll actually use. Head to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/dateable for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable. So self-sacrificing, I guess like if you were to give advice to younger folks, what are some signs that you're self-sacrificing like early on, at least from your experience, that you're able to look back at now and be like, ooh, wish I didn't do that?
The telltale sign for me was at some point I looked at myself and was like, I don't like who I've become in this relationship. And I don't even think that's sacrificing, like, being a meat eater or
Yeah.
like, it doesn't even have to be that obvious. But somehow being with this person in this relationship, you've kind of lost the essence of who you are. Or, I mean, this is the most obvious sign is like, you're not hanging out with your friends as much, or
Yeah.
you're not getting time for yourself anymore with your friends and family. Now it's all about the relationship and your partner. And then I started thinking, there was one relationship I can think of. I started becoming kind of temperamental, and I'm not a temperamental person. It's like, oh, I've become this person I don't like.
I think that's a really good one. I think for me, it was like self-sacrificing when I would like cancel plans with friends or like,
Yes.
like last minute change stuff to accommodate this other person or, even just stuff that wasn't with other people, but like plans to myself of like going to the gym. And then I'd get a text from them and I'd be like, oh, never mind. I'll skip that and like do it another day because like I couldn't be like, actually, are you free tomorrow? Because I wouldn't
Yes.
trust that, like, they would then be able to do something. Like, I was, like, holding
Yes.
on with a string. And I think that was a very big sign that relationship was not on, like, a good standing at all.
Exactly. Yeah, that's not the right person for you. I can think of this one boyfriend I had where he wasn't doing as financially well as me. And he would get very jealous of what I was able to do with my life, and he wouldn't want to hear it. And at the time I was like, if I get to go to like this gala or I get to go on vacation, I'm just not going to tell him
Oh,
because
yeah.
yeah, it would make him feel less than. But that's not good either because I was hiding a side of myself. Like the right partner would be like, yeah, go live your life. And I hope to get there too one day. But he was like, I don't want to be constantly comparing myself to you.
Well, downsizing yourself or like making
Yes.
yourself smaller, all those are huge signs of self-sacrifice. I think just
Mm-hmm.
like letting someone walk all over you too and
Yes.
just like their way only. I don't know if I've really had that experience that much. I mean, I've had someone that maybe like I don't think they were like the one walking all over me. Maybe I was letting them do it more, but
Mm-hmm.
like I think
Mm-hmm.
like that to me is a huge self-sacrifice. I guess in a way it's similar. But like yeah, it's like the like allowing someone to be the one that's dictating it all to be that
Yes.
self-sacrifice.
But it's so confusing when you're young because you want to be
Yeah.
flexible. You don't want to be the one that's like,
Yeah.
you can't hang out Saturday, then I have boundaries. I don't want to see you anymore. I used to be like that extreme too. But then there's like on the other extreme is I've dated people who would cancel plans last minute and be like, oh, can you hang out tomorrow instead? And to be cool and to be flexible, I'd be like, yeah. And then,
Yeah.
like you were saying, go cancel your other plans with your
Right.
friends because you're like, oh,
So
shoot,
bad.
now I got
Don't
to
do that. Don't
yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Well, you feel like, oh, now I got to rearrange my schedule, but I'm going to come off very flexible and cool and like chill. But that's also like, you got to have boundaries there.
I think anytime you're centering your life around someone you've barely met or even someone that like you have a relationship with, but you are, centering it like off center, like that they are not centering it with you together. Like you're the only one
Yeah.
centering. That is the sign because I think like it's very different when you're in a partnership where you're both like making each other your world than when
Yeah.
you're making this person your world and they're like just taking whatever they can from you.
Yeah. Yeah. What if you're in a lopsided relationship where you're dating someone who's like, I can see a future with you. I'm just not there yet, but I
Mm.
think we can get there. I'm just not as able to sacrifice myself for you right now.
Mm.
But you're like all in and you are convinced that this is the right relationship.
I mean, I would personally have a date in mind that at least it's like a recheck-in of like, okay, I will give it like 2 months if that is, something I really wanted to pursue. And then in 2
Yeah.
months, if this person not like you can be honest with this person too. I don't think it needs to be like a withholding information type thing. It doesn't need to be an ultimatum either. I think it's just be like, hey, I really like you and I really like what this is, but I do want someone where we're like all in together. Like, how about we like reevaluate in a couple months and see where we're at there or we're working towards it. And if we're just not in the same place, then we might have to like let this go. I don't think that's too much to ask.
It shouldn't be with the right partner. I think
Yeah.
this is kind of similar to the relocation scenario where you let your partner know that you are sacrificing
Yeah.
right now, but also make it clear that there's a deadline
Yeah.
and also only be in a relationship with me if you're 100% in like I am. Like
Right.
there has to be some parameters here and we know what we're getting ourselves into.
I kind of like that better than like you pulling back too, because I feel like then you're just
Yeah.
playing games if you're both pulling back, you know?
Because that's also sacrificing if
It
you're pulling
is.
back,
Yeah, if you
right?
want
You're
more
holding
and then
back.
you're only giving 50%, I think that's just not a good way to be in a relationship. I would rather go all in, be honest, like with where I'm at versus where they're at. And if we can't get to a place that we're on the same page, then need to stay true to yourself and not self-sacrifice.
Yeah. What do you think are some of the first signs of self-sacrifice in an early relationship?
Anxiety, a lot of
Yeah.
anxiety,
Yeah.
not knowing where you stand.
Yes.
Not
Confusion.
feeling like you can say things, that you're kind of like walking on
Yes.
eggshells. That's a big one.
Yep. Yep. Feeling like you have to rearrange your life.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's a big one.
Not centering your life around dating, not dating around your life. And that
Yes.
doesn't mean like not making room for dating and relationships. Absolutely make the room. But when it like overpowers everything, that is a huge sign.
It's like when they dictate your emotions, you
Yes.
know there's something bad happening. Like they text back and you're like so happy and you're ready to take on the day. And then you don't hear back for 2 days. And it's like you're so depressed. You're
Right.
in your group chats like, why didn't he text me back? Yeah.
But that doesn't also mean that there's something wrong with the relationship, though. In that scenario, it's a check-in, though, of like, what is going on for me? If they're like giving you all positive signs, that might just be your own internal work to do. But if you feel like you're the one that's like making every move and planning every date and feeling all that, it might be a sign to be like, am I just like overextending so much that this person's doing nothing and I'm sacrificing myself in the process?
Listen, I think this is so important to say. When you find yourself sacrificing yourself in a relationship, it's not the other partner who's asking you to do so. This is voluntary. You're doing it to yourself.
Totally.
So a lot of times we're like, oh, that's the villain. That's the person asking me to change myself. No one's asking you to change yourself or to abandon yourself. You're the one that started doing that. So when you start feeling that, you, like you said, like, check in with yourself first before you start blaming your partner.
100%. That's kind of like when I was saying like, oh, I've never really had a partner that did that. It's because I haven't had someone that like steamrolled me. I was voluntarily giving that. And I think there is a difference. I think there's someone that's like pushing it on you versus someone that maybe isn't giving fully, but you're like overcompensating to like keep the relationship going.
Yes. And you're creating stories in your head that may not be related to what the other person thinks about at all. I've brought up my coloring book story a million times where I'm waiting for this guy to solidify plans. And it's a Friday night. It's raining outside. I grab an adult coloring book and I'm coloring all night waiting for him to text me. And he never texted. And in the morning, I was so sad that night. And then in the morning, he finally texted, was like, oh, totally forgot. But yeah, we can still hang out. It was like an afterthought for him, but it made me so happy. Like, oh, we're going to hang out again or we're going to see each other. But the story in my head was like, oh, he's out with this other woman and he's out raging right now. He's not checking his phone because he's having such a good time. You know, it's like the moments you're waiting for an answer, the moments you're sitting in ambiguity, you're just creating stories that are farther and farther away from the truth.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so top takeaways. There is a difference between compromise, some sacrifice in a relationship versus self-sacrifice and, you know, becoming a smaller version of yourself. I think differentiating those two is really important because going into a relationship thinking that you're never going to make a sacrifice again is also not realistic. But there's a difference of choosing something that doesn't really matter to you in this grand scheme of things versus something that maybe like changes your identity or puts you at like a place that doesn't feel authentic to yourself or makes you feel like you're the one single-handedly holding something together. Those are all very different than, again, like, you know, being in a partnership and accommodating one another.
Yeah. And most of the time when you abandon yourself, it's nobody's fault but yours. You're the one that started doing that.
That's the sad truth. And usually when you start to really abandon yourself, it's writing on the wall that it's the wrong relationship. Because there's a difference of abandoning yourself in a time of need. Like, yeah, if someone's going through something like horrible, right? If like a parent passes away or something, like you're not going to be number one. And that's okay. Yeah. But like, is that forever? You know?
Right.
Like, I think there's a difference when a relationship is one-sided and it's full of self-abandonment. It doesn't ebb and flow ever. It stays that way. There's always something new that is the reason why your needs are never going to get met.
Exactly. And that becomes a new norm.
Yeah. Yep.
Don't want that.
Okay. Well, what a good one. If you haven't gone through something like this yet, we're happy for you. And we hope that you don't. That's the goal of this. And if you have, we get it. Sometimes this stuff stays with us. I think that's like something I've learned is like, how do you make sure that what happened in the past isn't following you into the present? And
Totally.
just a plug to make sure you pick up our book, How to Be Dateable, if you haven't yet. I feel like there's so much about just letting go of like what's happened in the past and coming to terms with it all in a way that really sets us up for a healthy future.
All right. And on that, we're going to see you all next week.
Okay, bye.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.